Hello students, in the previous class we have discussed about the energy conversion, law of conservation of energy, and we have taken some examples. Now today we are taking the very important example, the energy conversion during the movement of a pendulum. Okay, so when the pendulum is moving, what are the types of the energy conversion, and whether the energy remain conserved or not, that can be studied by the movement of a pendulum. Okay, so here there is a bob, which is bob means this part which is moving. Okay, the bob, it is tied with the thread. Okay, and what we are doing the movement of the pendulum. So when a pendulum move, there will be a different conservations of energies, and we will be studying one by one. If suppose you are holding this bob here, okay, so when you are holding means what you are doing, it is not moving, it is at the constant position. And we have already studied that the energy possessed by the body due to its position, since we are holding it, it is having acquired its own mass, everything, and it is under the own position. So what type of energy would be there when it is under the position? It would be potential energy. So we can see that here, when we are holding it, it will be having the maximum potential energy, and the potential energy will be maximum and the kinetic energy will be zero. Now when we release this bob from this point, you can see that when it is here in the rest position, it was having potential energy maximum, kinetic energy zero. Now if suppose we are releasing from this point, what will happen? It will start moving towards this side. So the potential energy will goes on decreasing, and the kinetic energy will goes on increasing. Why? Because when you are releasing from here, the potential energy, initially the potential energy was maximum. Now since it is coming towards this side, the potential energy goes on decreasing and the kinetic energy goes on increasing. But again, when it is reached here at the maximum point, you can see here at the highest point, what will happen on reaching to the highest point? The kinetic energy, it will stop at one stage will come, this will stop for some time, and for that point again the kinetic energy will be considered zero and the potential energy will be considered as maximum. So here we can see that continuously there is an energy conversion, that is kinetic energy, potential energy. So at some stage the kinetic energy is maximum, and at the some stage the potential energy is maximum. So we can say that here is an energy conversion, but there is a conservation of energy, because only the energy is converting into one form to the another form. Okay, so we can say that when the pendulum bob is pulled, the energy supplied is stored in it. When the pendulum bob is pulled, the energy supplied is stored in it in the form of potential energy, because whenever the object is having its own position, it will have its potential energy. Now on an account of its higher position, it is having the potential energy. When the pendulum is released, when the pendulum is released, it starts moving right, then potential energy changes. Either we can consider this, either you can hold it here, either you can hold it here, there is no problem. Only we have to consider about the energy conversion. Okay, so at that, when you are releasing, what will happen? The potential energy will be changed into kinetic energy, such that at the mean position, it has at this position, before stopping, you will consider that the maximum kinetic energy will be there and zero potential energy. Okay, now as the pendulum is moved towards the extreme right, okay, its kinetic energy changes into extreme right, means when it attains the maximum position, and for the some time it will stop. So when it gets stopped at the highest position, you will find out that the kinetic energy will be zero, and again the potential energy will become maximum. So what this example is illustrating? This example is explaining us law of conservation of energy. You can say that energy only changes its form and it is not destroyed, because both the energies are conserved here, kinetic as well as the potential, it is conserved here, only the energy conversion is there, but there will be no destroy of the energy, only the potential energy changes to the kinetic energy and so on. So this example we have considered of the pendulum to explain that in the pendulum the always energy remain conserved, only it is the energy is changing from one form to another form.